This is Carrie Steller with Alesha Zappitella, Alesha Half Pint Zappitella. We are live here on MMA UK News, and we're going to talk about Alesha's upcoming fight for Invicta FC 40. How are you, Alesha?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you?
I'm doing really well, really well. It's been a while, with COVID and all this crazy stuff going on.
Mm-hmm.
How are you doing? I see you're staying busy with so many things, which is awesome.
I'm doing great. COVID really hasn't set me back much at all, other than not being able to make as much money as I would have been able to. Other than that, things have been fantastic.
Yeah, you know, it's funny because I was talking to a couple people and they're like, how have you been? I'm like, honestly, fine. I'm really a homebody to begin with, so it really didn't affect me too much, but I miss the fights. I miss covering them.
Me too. Yeah.
It's so much. So I'm so excited that you're able to fight. I just wish I could be there covering it.
I know. It's so sad that there's not going to be a live audience for this, and I was thinking that I got more corners than I got, so I was going to try to sneak my mom in as my corner, but sadly they have really buckled down on this, so I only get one corner, but that's okay because all I need is James.
Yeah. Nice, and I completely understand with who you were going for too. Smart reasons, but I mean, that does stink, and it's crazy because I know that UFC, they're allowed right now 2 or 3, right?
Yep.
I'll stay like it, but James is good enough. That's all you need. He's awesome.
Oh yeah,
he's awesome. You guys have such a great relationship. Working together for how long over at SFS?
Things are going fantastic at SFS. As you know, we opened before we were supposed to be able to. James kind of publicly said that he was going to open the gym, and we got some backlash from the public, and some of the officials came in. They said they were going to fine us, but they immediately dropped charges. They didn't fine us, and they said as long as we weren't taking in new members, we were fine to stay there and keep running.
That's what I heard was the biggest issue was the places that are open to the public, but what news people clearly don't understand, and general reporters that don't know anything don't understand that if you're a gym, you're a member. If you're a gym, you're a member there. You're not just walking in there as a person and going, all right, I'm coming to train.
Right, exactly.
I love that he did that. I thought that was one, like the most appropriate thing to do, because you guys got to get back to business. He's got a business to run. And honestly, gyms are probably one of the cleanest places right now in general. Cleaner than hair salons. I'm a hairstylist. Cleaner than nail salons. It's apples to oranges.
Yeah, completely. The gym is always the girls are always in there cleaning the gym for us, and it's just a great environment. Like, I don't understand why the hell McDonald's is open but gyms are closed. That makes no sense.
McDonald's, it's like the most unhealthy shit in the world is open right now, but you can't go to the gym.
Right.
You could go to a packed Walmart, questionable people in general, but you cannot go to a gym. It makes no sense. No. And I mean, everything they're saying is so conflicting that it's like, what? I look at the science. I'm very much you know me, I research everything. And I kind of, in the beginning, I was like, I don't think that masks are really smart. And then I obviously did a lot of research on stuff from general science and, figured out, yeah, no, they're not. You breathe out CO2, prolonged exposure to that is detrimental.
Yeah. Actually, the other day, I did my fasted cardio in the morning, and I really had to go to Target because one of my friends was coming over. So I ran to Target, and I had my mask on. So I was already sweating, and I had to put that thing on, and I was like suffocating in there. Luckily, I only had to get one thing, and I was out quickly, but it was absolutely terrible.
People don't understand it. And I said, for people, if they mandate that in schools, people need to stand up and do something about it, because your kids are not going to be able to make it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, like I work at a school where there are kindergartners, and there's even pre-kindergartners. Those kids are not going to wear a mask all day. Like there's no way that you can get them to wear a mask.
No. And it's especially if you have kids that have sensory issues, it's going to be uncomfortable on their face. If it's uncomfortable for you, it's going to be even more uncomfortable for them.
Yep.
You get people that don't even look at like the general, you're in a field where you're around germs all day long in general. in general in a school, people, we're all around germs all day long. So just none of it makes any sense. And I think that being healthy is one of the most important things, more important than having your hair done. Although I do think that looking good is super important.
I agree.
People don't get that. You have to look good and feel good.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I work with the special needs kids, so that was actually where my mind went first, because these kids, they need to be on a schedule. They're talking about making school like at home
Absolutely.
all the time now, and that's not okay. They need the set schedule, the interaction with people. They like, especially like putting a mask on one of their faces, like that's not okay. They're not going to do well.
No, and I'm really glad that you said that, because not enough people are saying social skills. People need to be social. I don't know why they ever took Asperger's off of the spectrum, because it's very much social disorder. And if kids don't have social skills, how are they going to survive around people in social environments? Example, work. Just everyday life. You can't possibly expect kids to be able to handle that if they're not around it. And, you see kids that, oh, they're fine, but they're not right now. They're not okay. A lot of kids are really depressed.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, also, like, I also work with emotionally impaired kids. Like, these are the kids who have a bad home life. And, like, my heart goes out to them, because you're seeing the statistics of women that have been killed just from being locked in the house with their husbands. And then think about all the poor little kids who, like, CPS can do shit about. Like,
school is their escape.
Yeah, school is their escape. Like, I see little kids that are acting out, and like, I know exactly why the hell they're acting out. They're acting out because this is the only time that they get attention. Like, the bad attention is better than no attention. And when they go home, like, it's sad, like, seeing some of these kids, like, I don't know, that's where my mind goes. And I think that it's just really bad for everybody.
I feel like more people need to think about it from that perspective, and not, I don't want to, okay, so this is like, it's so funny that we're doing the fight interview and it goes straight going on right now, and anybody can interview about a fight. We'll talk about that in a little bit. However, what's really going on is also affecting your fight schedule and your life. So it all ties in, and it is a very much a health problem. You need circulation. You need a certain amount of oxygen in your body, a certain amount, not a lot of CO2, and the more exposure and the less balance, it's just generally not good. And no, you're absolutely right. The statistics of everything bad is going up with the life. Like, you got domestic violence, child abuse on so many different levels. Abuse on I know people that haven't had a drink in years that are like putting down a bottle a day. I'm like,
so I was actually talking, one of my friends who is a professional boxer, he is a recovered heroin addict, and he was talking about the numbers of people who, there are a lot of people that are getting this unemployment right now, and they're making more money than they've ever made. And what can they do with it? They can't go shop. They can't go spend it on anything. What do? They revert back to drugs, and there's so many overdoses right now. I think that he said that he's lost like 6 people in this time. Because then also because they can't go to AA or other things like that.
They can go to AA, but it depends. Now, I'm a big advocate for like rehabs and stuff, and I will never call my friends out, but I was able to, when COVID first became a thing, which statistics and numbers, I don't know why anybody's not looking at it scientifically, and even just looking at the possibility that it was here last fall, because they only discovered it November 17th. So there's much a possibility it was here in September, October, which I definitely think it was. I know people that had the same symptoms, just not diagnosed. So, which to me, that means we already hit the second wave. We already peaked, already mutated, and now it's just a political move. Boom. That's just its own thing, right? So you got all these things going on simultaneously, and it's so much going on at once. But the fact that they're not paying attention to certain communities and certain people that are having certain problems really upsets me. It's like, where are we? What have we, where have we come? And no, the statistics are horrible. It's so many people have lost so many people during this time, and not to COVID, to other things, to suicide, to overdoses, like you said. I was able to get my friend into a program up in Connecticut, which is one state away.
Mm-hmm.
It was literally a really crazy experience. They wouldn't even let me go like out of the car. I had to drop her off. They come out in like hazmat suits. Literally, I've never seen anything like it. Check her, and then they let her in the place, and it was like a full-on medical facility. They also added into their program, so that's hiring people. The homeschooling, the only thing that I take good out of that is teachers that are not able to get a job right now, that maybe if they did homeschooling and say like, one day go to this parent's house, one day go to that house, whatever, and you can employ teachers that way, so can the district.
Yeah. And then there's also like the parents who are now being forced to become at-home teachers. And then there's just a reality of it. The way that they're teaching kids nowadays is way different than the way that we learned. Like, I mean, the way that I learned. So I can only imagine older people.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So like they don't understand how to teach their kids what they're learning. And that's very detrimental.
Well, that, and I'm watching, some schools, districts are different. You're going to get schools that are different. You're going to get teachers that are different. But I'm not seeing like what I would have thought, which would have been like, Zoom classes where they were all sitting there. And you know what I mean? I'm not seeing that, like one or two, but that's not one or two. That's not a teacher teaching them, physically teaching them. I had to play teacher for a second there. I'm good on that. I'm good on that. That is a profession. It's a thankless job. And, I think.
Yeah, I know that the school that I work for did the Zoom teaching, and I know that they did lunches for the kids who needed it. I know that they got electronics to the kids that don't have access to it. So I know, I work for a school that I absolutely love. I love everybody that works there, and they've really done their best to cover all the bases, but I know that that's not the case for everywhere.
Yeah, and it's a shame for the ones that aren't, and then you get people in inner cities or lower income areas, and those are they're everywhere. And schools are definitely not as on the up and up as others. And now everybody's getting a pass fail, pretty much pass. They're not failing anybody this year, which I really can't at this point. So that makes no sense. But it's so much going on, but it's such a pleasure to see you guys are going to be getting in there, and so many people are so anxious to fight, because you're doing it for our entertainment too, not just for your career. We all get to see what we've been missing for so long. I mean, 3 months is a long time to only be able to watch UFC too. Is I want to watch other promotions. I miss them, so it's like I love it, but this is great.
Yeah, I'm very excited because well, I think that this is a huge opportunity for me. I'm co-main event on Invicta. It's the first fight back. And what else are people going to be doing? They're going to watch Invicta. And this is a chance for me to blow up.
Yeah.
And I'm actually really excited about it. My training hasn't really taken much of a hit because, like I said, my coach opened the gym and I've been in there 4 times a day. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
So not that you never put in that work. Your work ethic is insane. It always has been. But I love that he did that, because one, how would you guys be able to get in and train for a fight in weeks? That's just, you need to be able to have some, like at least a month and a half of hardcore fight camp, and that's lightly.
Yeah, this fight camp has been about 8 weeks. Yeah. So it's been pretty good. And then other than that, like I met up with like my strength and conditioning coach, like on our own terms, like outside of the gym, and I was training with other professional fighters out in the backyard. So I've always been doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
I told you yesterday, I just started training. I tried over the last couple of years, but I got one of my friends who has the same injuries as I do, which is awesome. It sucks, but
right.
In jiu-jitsu, secondary black belt. He's fought twice. So we've been in the backyard. I have a really nice deck, and I have a big, outdoor rug. He's like, but we got to bring mats. He's like, he's like, dude, one of us is going to be in a lot of pain by the end of this, but it's so and I told him, because he lives in the city and it's not like that. You can't just go and train. So I said, just come out here. We'll train at my house. And it's been awesome. It's been awesome. So I can imagine how great you feel. And outside's a whole different ball game. I love it.
Yeah, I love it too. But I've actually really loved this whole time. I might have a different perspective than most people do because I
know you do.
I got to train. I got to schedule every single training session, and my coach was there coaching just me and just my teammates on exactly what I needed.
Yep. The one-on-one is insane, and people are like, oh, you really, like I said, I'd rather right now, I don't even know if I'm going to want to go into the gym. I really enjoy our one-on-ones. And even in winter time, I have a really nice space in my living room. That was very easy when it was colder. We were doing it in there. So it's, people can make it happen if they want to. And one-on-one time, I think, will be big for people that want to be private contractors, that want to do so much that, you know, maybe life will be not so anymore, and people will have, you know, enjoy more. I mean, like, I know you've been training and doing so many different things with weapons training. I just started doing weapons traiing for sword fighting, but it's right now it's sticks to translate into swords. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I actually have some kendo sticks.
I love it. It's the best thing ever. It was the first
so
time
much fun.
I got clipped in my hand. My trainer was like, hand model. Don't worry, we're good. My sister's like, what were you doing? I'm like, jujitsu. I think it's actually from me, from trying to get out of a rear naked choke. I scratched myself.
I absolutely love all of the weapons training. It's really empowering. I don't know, like if I had nothing on me and there's a knife next to me and someone's coming at me, I would be able to throw it and stick them every time.
And it's super important because women don't understand, and people don't understand right now, the times we're living in is bananas. So you don't know. Look at Seattle. Seattle right now, they took over part of it, so you can't even go in there. You know what I mean? They have all these checks. It's crazy. And these are the people. So I don't want to live in a lawless place, in a place that I don't know, you know, what could happen, but I actually do, like you, know how to protect myself. And that was something I said, you know what, that was something I took really hardcore seriously in the last couple of months because of what's going on. I don't want to ever put out there. And thank God in New York, where, you know, Long Island people aren't really doing that out
here. So the protests near my house have been actually very, very peaceful, and I'm very thankful for that. Because there was a lot of hate going around about my town and people like threatening to burn it down, and it was really scary, but it was all peaceful.
Good.
And also to mention, I'm very avid with a gun, so if I had a gun on me,
I love it. You know, I love it. I love that. I love that we have to. I mean, because at the end of the day, we're in a revolution, so this could very well be like people are going to have to band together and, like, you know what I mean?
Yep.
My shoulders, I don't know if I could use a gun, but I have other things that I can use, you know, so everybody does. Now, okay, so you've been doing all this different training. What is your favorite weapons training right now?
I actually really
I've seen you do quite a few things.
Yeah, I like the axe throwing. I'm really, really good with tomahawks.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now, because I was at the store the other day and they have a shortage on guns, no shortage on machetes. It's in the gardening section. It's $16. I'm going to buy one this week.
I have a machete. I have a katana. I have some throwing knives. I have some tomahawks.
There's no reason not to have them. And that's literally the only weapons you could get your hands on right now. So I tell people, go learn how to do hand-to-hand combat, because you know what? If they come and take away your guns.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And one of my sponsors is actually really good with like hand-to-hand combat with like knives and stuff. And he kind of broke it down to me. Like, if somebody's coming at you with a knife, there's only so many different ways that they can come at you.
Absolutely. And if somebody, you know, my coach yesterday was saying that, like, if somebody's got a gun and and they don't have it out yet and they're going to get it, he goes, he worked with somebody he trained with somebody that explained that to him, the distance and the speed that you can go and dismantle that person with a knife or whatever really fast, or even if you know jujitsu, you might be able to get at them quicker before they can even draw their gun because it's not even out of their pocket.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I don't want to sound like a complete, I'm going to go and like give my coach a shout out because he doesn't, you know, we're not saying yet. Really transformed my arms. Holy shit.
Nice. Looking good.
Arms are like twice the size they were.
Yeah.
You can see the little like marks from yesterday. it takes a while for your body to get used to bruising. Am I wrong?
No, it definitely does. Once I got back to jujitsu and just everything, I was bruising a lot, and I had no clue why.
Yeah, everywhere. My dad was like, "Yo, what are you guys doing over there?" I'm like, "No, Dad, it's from jujitsu. Don't worry about getting hit by a guy." People don't get it. You really do
Mhm,
have to, like, your body becomes soft, so it's
mhm,
fine. Like, you can't train your organs and your skin, but you can in a bizarre way.
mhm.
You
Yeah,
know, so
yeah.
I'm getting it now and seeing things from such a different angle that I've ever seen in my life. And it was so funny because I've watched all of your fights, you know that. And yesterday, it was the first time like we like really just rolled. And he's like, I just
Mhm.
want your instincts. And so I was like, doing things that I've seen you guys do and what you're
Mhm.
your foundation. And he's like, you could tell you watch.
That's awesome.
I did train back in the day, but yeah, no, I avidly watch fighting, and I do personally believe if you watch something enough, you could pick up
Oh,
half
definitely.
for learning by watching.
Definitely. Like my mom can tell you anything that's wrong with what any wrestler is doing because she has grown up. I mean, she's like raised us just
Yeah,
watching us wrestle.
I love it. I love it. Now you got again. There's some new people watching. I see some new comments. We're just going to get into your fight. Invicta FC 40. You were fighting against Lindsay Van Zant for the number one title contender for the Atomweight champion. How excited are you?
I am so excited. She has a lot of accolades. She's fought one of my teammates, so I'm really excited just to get that win back because the fight against Tabitha was stopped way too early. And I don't know, she's fought for Ryzen, she's fought for Bellator, she's won an Invicta, and I think that it makes sense that they put us for the title contention.
I definitely do. Looking at both of your records, I know Lindsay and I know you very well. And it's funny because as a female reporter, I get to know all of you. And then like I'm watching my friends fight each other. Like when Morgan and Mitzi fought, I'm very friendly with both of them. Like
Mm-hmm.
we talk. So I'm like, fuck, who do I? But like, no, I definitely think stylistically it's a great matchup. You both fought Kelly D'Angelo. You know what I mean? You guys have fought the same, I think some of the same opponents, but you can look at that and go, okay, well, now I'm going to look at the stylistically matchup of you two.
Mm-hmm.
And she's got the ground game. You do as well. You have great wrestling. And you fought people that are lengthy and stuff. So I can't see that being, I know you. I know that you can handle that.
Yeah, definitely. I also think that I have the power aspect. My coach and I looked at it from her coach's perspective. This is the first time we've ever actually done this because we've had a very long fight camp. We've known about this fight being a possibility for a while now.
People you don't understand how long this fight has been talked about. I know for so long people have been talking about this fight.
So we actually looked at it from the perspective of if he was Lindsay's coach, what would he tell her to do to beat me? And we only spent one day on that, broke it down, and went through that, and then went right back to focusing on making me the best me.
I love it. I love it because you know what you should look at like what you think that would happen, and that's a great way to look at it in a great scenario. But focusing on yourself is really how you're going to win that fight. I mean, people that focus on the other person too much, I feel like that's an issue too. It's people. It's just it's a fight. It's the art of war. This is the art of war. It's mental. It's physical. It's emotional. People say don't know much about fighting because fighters don't start crying at the end of their fights for no reason. I've cried at the end of my pool match just by winning, which. You cried in pool? Like I cried hysterically for my first one back from my shoulders injuries. I jumped in my friend's arm like I can't
believe it. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. What's weird is like I am the most peaceful. I am the best me that I have ever been, and I am now the most brutal that I have ever been on the mat.
Well, seeing your last fight was overseas. The one before that, Viviane. Right?
Viviane.
Yeah.
And then
I fuck up her name every time. You fought her before your last fight, correct?
Yeah, so it's Viviane, and then it was Kana Asakura, and then it was Kelly.
Yes. So now if you look at the elevation of those fights and you look at that Viviane was bigger and she couldn't even knock you out. Like there's something huge to be said for that.
Yeah, she's hit me harder than anyone's ever hit me. Like,
Well,
I've been
you at one, wasn't she 115 at one point?
yeah, she was 115 in Brazil
Yeah.
for XFC and in UFC.
So there's something to be said for that as well. I truly believe that. But you, being that you're a wrestler, you've dealt with so many different weights and people, but it's different being punched by somebody.
Oh yeah.
It's a whole different ball game. But you showed in spades what you can take, what you can handle, and that you don't give up. So
yeah,
that's
yep. I'm actually very proud of that fight because it was a huge learning experience for me, and I saw what I'm about and what I can take. The next loss after that wasn't so great, left a sour taste in my mouth, but I would like to at some point get that win back.
And I think you definitely will have the opportunity. And it's, again, people don't realize unless you're around fighters all the time. Fans don't. I mean, look, and this is why we do interviews so they can learn what you guys really go through. And the lead up, after, during. I mean, and you get fans or people that just sit there and they'll look at the fight and go, oh, well, you should have done this. Well, you should. Well, it's really easy to say that sitting from your couch.
Yeah.
You know what
yeah.
I mean? And then, you get like people that hated on Felicia Spencer. And I said, well, first off, she's gone through 2 5-round wars with 2 of the baddest bitches on the planet. And neither of them could knock her out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Neither of them. Who comes back stronger, and she'll be, I'm telling you right now, that girl is destined for gold too. And the losses, I feel like, make you a better person. But again, you can't get knocked out by the hardest hitting women in divisions. That's something huge about you.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, I don't know, it was a learning experience, and I'm really excited because the loss with Kana actually, it forced me to change. I kind of took a step out, step back. I looked at myself inside the cage and outside of the cage, and I know that I'm destined for greatness, and I knew that something had to change, and I changed absolutely everything.
You did. I remember we spoke about it after. You literally like went through a whole evolution of you, which you have to do. I mean, listen, every so often you have to evolve. It's just that, or you're going to stay stagnant. And I mean, very few people stay stagnant and actually relative, or relevant, so to speak. Some people stay stagnant and just fade into obscurity. But the evolution is also in your skill set. So you can't. First off, you look at fights and people sometimes get people's numbers. Like Khabib, one day somebody's going to get his number, maybe. I don't know. Really, it could happen, but I do think he's going to be the only champion to retire undefeated as a champ. He's undefeated in general, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, he might be the only one.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. Khabib is very, very tough. It would take a special person to beat him.
I definitely think so. And right now, I personally, and people are going to hate on me because I have friends that are going to be like, oh, you don't think I could beat him? Like, okay, so I'm 111 right now. So like if I ever stepped in a cage, clearly I would be fighting at atomweight, right? You think that I would want to get in there with a pro fighter for my first fucking fight, or even my fourth? Like, no! Jillian or Lindsay, I'm not stupid. Like you season, you've been doing this for so long, and there's something to be said for knowing where you're at as well.
Yeah, I mean, I've been doing this for 20 years now. It's pretty insane.
It is. And people don't know that either. You start wrestling when you're a kid. And I think that more people should get their kids into wrestling in general.
I agree.
It's a foundation for everything. It's great discipline.
I completely agree. I actually suggested it to one of the parents of one of the kids that I was working with this year, and I hope that he gets in wrestling. It's going to help. I feel like it implements discipline in any kid, and I think that any girl should definitely wrestle or do jujitsu. It doesn't matter if my daughter ever wants to fight, she's gonna learn jujitsu.
It is imperative. And actually, at this point, it's imperative for women too. And you can teach the old dog new tricks. You really can. It doesn't matter how old you are. And people need to get that mindset out of their head that like, oh, I can't, I'm this old, I can't compete. Look, I'm 41. I definitely missed my mark. I was out there getting fucked up when I was younger. However, at 41 years old, I can go and do jujitsu tournaments. I don't know if they're going to have a person my weight, but I can go and do them, you know, and why not? I mean, I was able to, my coach put me in a Kimura, he put me in an armbar, and my shoulders didn't come out. I don't play the hero, tap, tap, you know, I'm not going to be stupid.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and getting in and training with people, especially as an injured person, I think it's imperative to get in training with people that you can say, listen, I'm injured. This is what's wrong with me. And you know that they're not going to, you know, try. People have egos. You know that. You've heard about UFC fighters, females going into gyms. Who was it? Oh, what's her name? The Venezuelan vixen. You know who I'm talking about.
Is it Juliana?
Yes. That happened to her when she came into a new gym. Some guy like chested up and tore her knee in training. Like, what the fuck? Like, you don't.
That's fucked up. Yeah. That is so fucked up.
It's the most unnecessary thing in the entire world. Now, mind you, she did have a little bit of an attitude back in the day, but still, it doesn't mean having a man chest up and decide to like, I'm going to tear your knee off.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I actually trained with her back in the day when she had a little bit more of an attitude. I love Juliana.
I like spicy chicks. I like chicks that are a little bit more, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is good. Question: is that a Sublime tapestry behind you?
Actually, no. It does look very similar, but
I love it.
Thank you.
I was actually just looking at a couple the other day in the store, but they didn't have anything per se that I wanted, and for the price, I was like, I could get something online better.
Yeah. I have a local spiritual shop that I go to often, and got that there, and I get a lot of stuff there.
One around the corner, and then I have a couple that I go to. I frequent those places. I feel like spirituality is super important as well, and I feel like too many people get really mad or judgy about spirituality and religion, and I have a major issue with that because I don't ever judge anybody that they don't. I never go, well, you know what, you're going to hell. I've never said that to one agent ever. What I have said is okay, but you know what, when you're praying on your deathbed, I'll talk to you about it then, because it's true. Anything in the world, and every person that doesn't believe in a God, the second that something terrible is happening, those motherfuckers are first pray.
Yep. I'm not religious, but I'm very spiritual. I've actually I like to learn from different religions and stuff. I like to learn about different mythology and different deities and stuff like that.
I'm getting into it. All the different mythologies and deities. I'm getting into it.
I'm actually getting a tattoo of a dancing Shiva.
I love it.
Because I love.
Both have very spiritual tattoos. I know that.
We do. Yeah. Actually, one of my newest ones was a Path to Enlightenment, and it's over a moon.
I love that. Now that I love because those are very but not if they're done right, they look great. And I've seen ones that are not done well at all. But I like it a lot. I like what that. I noticed it the other day. I was like, look at Alesha.
Thank you. I got the moon to represent the light in dark times.
All right. I love that. And I mean, you know, if that's not representative of what's going on right now, I don't know what is. And I mean, you know, we've talked about so many things, and we don't even need to get into the conspiracies on here, but the imperative is that people do go and search for the truth. Do a little research. I mean, right now you're stuck in a quarantine, right? You got all these people that have been locked up for 3 months, and a lot of those people went and searched for the truth. Some didn't. Some people, you know, it's very hard to understand and grasp the fact that there is so much evil in this world. And if you believe in a God or something that's really great and spiritual, you have to believe in something that's equally or lesser bad. You know what I mean?
Because if there's light, there's dark.
Absolutely. It's in everywhere. But you know what? It's right now we're living through certain histories, and I think it's important for people to go and research those histories, because really, and at the end of the day, if no one was there, you don't know what really happened. And I could say that for sure, that he who holds the pen is going to write the book. So the Bible could have been inspired by God, but yes, it was written by man. Every book out there, written by a human being.
Yep. And I think it's actually really interesting how all the religions have a lot of similarities.
All of them.
All
Almost
of them.
all of them, in one way or another. I just learned that I'm going to say it wrong. The Quran.
The Quran, yeah, or Quran.
Is an extension of the book of Revelations, and that message was given to him by the Archangel Michael or Gabriel, one of the two. So there, and if you look into it, Jesus, Mary, they're all mentioned in the Quran. So that's one holy book that matches. And you have every single one of them that talks about a great flood, a great force of something that made the world come into being, right? So I was just having this conversation with a friend of mine, 2 or 3. One's a history major, who said his problem with religion is it sometimes doesn't historically match up. And I said, but that's people that, one, you get people of Jewish faith that didn't even believe that Jesus was, so they're never going to take that account, or some do, but whatever. And then you get the Romans that also didn't believe that he was a Messiah. However, they labeled him theirs anyway. So it's really crazy when you look at all that stuff. And then you look at gods and angels that, I mean, when Noah's Ark, I'm sure there was some people that survived in the mountains, and I'm sure some of them went into Rome, and I'm sure some of them went into different countries. And if you look at the Old Testament, you have the Tower of Babel, and that's how I feel like we have different languages, and it's every culture that there's some kind of tower, even in Viking mythology that they built.
Yep. I like Viking and like paganism. I love it that there's not one god, because there's different gods over different things, and I really enjoy that.
I feel like it's such
also what I like about Viking, like paganism, is you can be mad at your gods. In like other things, like you're not supposed to be mad at your god. Like, but the thing is, like, being mad it's an emotion. You should be able to express that no matter who it's towards.
Absolutely. And you know what? Again, I feel like that just goes so back to the, like, whoever wrote that book and actually wrote it. Yes, it was inspired by God, but it was written by man. So, you know, for me, I look at that and I celebrate all religion. I there's not one that I go, well, maybe Scientology, because it was like Superman made and it was made of into that.
They had a good basis, and then things get weird.
Yeah, they kind of went stage left, and no. But there was a lot of similarities and truths, and they all kind of speak about the same thing, which is just be a good person, do good to other people, and you're going to have good happen, right? But I do like that you can have an emotion. And now people that interpret the Bible nowadays they look at God as how you did in the Old Testament, which was you could pray huge prayers and get them. And, you know, it all goes out to what you speak into the universe and what you're going to get back. And that's another religion. And they all are so similar. But paganism is probably what I was just told that I am probably that more than anything, because they do believe in everything. They don't discredit anything. So I would say that you are more that anyway. And it is kind of the oldest religion.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say that if I had to say I'm leaning towards anything, it'd be more paganism, because I don't discredit anybody for believing in anything, but I don't know. I have my own beliefs, but I'm not religious. Like I said, I'm spiritual. And I actually found out that I'm a lot more Native American than I ever knew that I was.
You look at I could have called that. You have
Thank you.
There's your eyes.
I've always been very drawn to the Native Americans, and I didn't know why. I had a really long conversation with one of my grandmothers, and apparently I'm really, really Native American, which I'm actually really happy about, and I'm embracing it.
That doesn't shock me. And, you know, I actually want to get my DNA tested, like the Ancestry or 23andMe or whatever it is, because, like, I really am interested to know where my family comes from, because from what I'm told, we're Irish, Polish, German, Norwegian. Oh, my gosh, so many different things. I think we have Welsh in us and English. So we're like literally a bit of everything, but I want to know really what we are, because you can go back and then go, okay, well, your genealogy can be traced all the way back to dawn of time, and you can find out where your family migrated from, and you can really look at it that we all kind of migrated from the same places. Yeah. But it's wild, and I do think that you're drawn to certain things for certain reasons. And I really do believe that, like, I'm drawn to nature. I'm drawn to, I have no problems with speaking about religion and spirituality and different religions. And I know a lot about them enough. I've never done that much research to know half the stuff that I know. So, but I'm not afraid of it. And more people shouldn't be ashamed of having a faith in anything because it's super important. And those people don't do in something, believe it or not.
Yeah. I've always been drawn to nature as well. And over this time, I've been learning a lot of herbal alchemy and just thank you. Like I could go out into the backyard and I could make something based off of anything that I find. Right now, I'm mostly into like the food part of it, but I am learning the medical part of it.
Okay.
I've dabbled in the medical part of it, and I've actually made some really good mixtures that have helped with a lot of stuff. Actually, something that would probably help with COVID a lot, because one of them, my roommate, he had some lung problems. So I did my research, I made some stuff, and he's like, "This is like hitting my inhaler, like but
There's
better."
a lot that can help with COVID out in nature. Chaga mushrooms, turkey tail mushrooms, absolutely huge. Chaga is an antiviral. I don't know why people aren't drinking it.
Mullein is actually great for your lungs when smoked.
There's so much. And my friend actually just started school to be a registered herbalist, and I would love to do
Really?
that.
I think that's really cool. Yeah, I haven't talked about this yet, but like how I made a completely new change in myself this time around. I went out in nature for 2 days. I also fasted. I didn't eat. I drank water. But I went out with a list of questions and I answered all of my questions by myself, and I just kind of changed who I am as a person. So Vision Quest, as you
might call it. Vision Quest, because I know about this. I love it. I'm really about that. And these are all things that were practiced so long ago that people are, over time, we were taught that kind of stuff only exists in movies. You can't do stuff that involves different planes or physics, and normal people can't do that. That has to be through a machine, or it's just in a movie, or that only happened in the past because they were able to. Well, no, you can. We're taught and literally brainwashed that we can't. Nonetheless, the chemicals that are in our water, people drink bottled water, but they shower in filth. Get a shower filter, you'll change your whole life. It's incredible. And there's something huge to be said for that, because like everybody should spend time with themselves in the quiet for a certain amount of time, because you will learn so much about yourself.
Oh yeah. I've always known that I'm very empathic. I'm very good with energy. There's a lot of other stuff that I could get into, but I won't bring that to the internet. But
you get into a lot.
Yeah.
I have like 8 different kinds of tarot cards. I have so many different stuff. I love them. You know what I just got into? I don't like the traditional. I feel like it's dark, so I like a lot of angel cards and all that other stuff. But I just got into burning a sage mixed with dragon blood, which is really good.
Dragon blood is great. It's great for getting rid of any negative energies or any negative entities that are around. I burn a lot of what is it? Santo Paulo? Yeah, that. And then I have quite a few. I have one tarot deck, but I have a bunch of oracle decks. So I love my oracle decks.
They're so much fun, and they're so much lighter, and the messages are so much cooler.
Yeah.
I truly believe that. And I'm just so excited about the future. We have so many great things going on. And I really don't think that look, it sucks that a lot of people died. It really does. It sucks that there's civil unrest everywhere when people are, freaking out. It all sucks. But I feel like a lot of people took the time to really kind of learn about themselves and learn new things. And, I've heard a lot of people talk about self-transformation from this, which is really what I that it was meant to happen.
Yeah, I agree. I think that there's a lot of good in this, and a lot of people are just taking the time to look at the bad, but I've been just trying to focus on all of the good in the world. Like, there's people coming together now over things that they never would have come together over before, and there's like revolutions going on, and there's so much good.
We're like living history, and we're going to change it. You know what I mean? We have the chance to change history. I don't agree with erasing it, but I do agree with changing it. And
I agree
talk about it so that we don't repeat it. Because some of the stuff I have heard, I was like, yo, that's like literally almost overturning civil rights in general and segregating us in a whole different way. And I just think that's like not the answer. It's my personal opinion. I don't think the answer is to do that.
If we don't know our history, we're gonna repeat it. I've heard people like talking about rewriting Quentin Tarantino movies. That's too far. That shows history. We
Yep.
need that, because if we don't see how bad things were, we're going to repeat it one way or another.
Absolutely. Them getting rid of all the movies that they're getting rid of right now is literally just getting rid of just history that we need. It is imperative that we have that, again, like you said, so we don't repeat it. And you have a bunch of people that are lining up. Now, I said this to my friend and it was pretty profound, and my computer's about to die. She was kind of like, I never thought about it like that. She told me she wanted to line up and get the vaccine. I'm like, okay. I'm like, your mother's a Catholic. She's like, yeah. And I said, your father's Jewish, right? She's like, yeah. I'm like, go ask him what he thinks about a digital tattoo. There's going to have to be something in them for in you, they implant to be able to read that you have this. This is a digital certificate. Not hard to figure that out. I said, just go ask your dad what he thinks about that. He might have a weird opinion about that, being that that's very Holocaust-ish, if you ask me, and very reminiscent of getting, what were the numbers tattooed on them?
Yeah. I agree with that. And then getting rid of the films is exactly like a repeat of history of burning the books. Like, let's not do that. Let's remember where we came from.
Absolutely.
Forward.
We're not allowed to look at books in the Vatican, and they have more of our history than anybody in the entire world. And half of it's been, no, we're not allowed. We're just going to forget that happened. We're not going to put that in there. And it's really, honestly, they've done a disservice to themselves and to all of us.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and burning books is a service too, because again, like you cannot erase history. You only can learn from it. And that is really what everybody needs to do right now, is learn and grow. And I said the other day, the only reason why people are still have any racial issues is because that was pushed on us by people that should have known better not to push their personal experiences on their kids.
Yeah, exactly. I think that we have a lot of healing to do. And if us as people, if we heal now, several generations down the line, our children's children will be healed and things will be okay. We might never see the world to be okay, but
I think we will.
I hope so too. I really hope so, because I don't know, I don't like the racism, the sexism, any of it. Like, it's not fair. It's not fair to anybody being born into this world and to already have being labeled anything because of what they look like or what gender they are, you know?
No, it's not right. And we're the ones that can put a change to that, and that's that and change it. And that's the beautiful thing about it. And, you know, I kind of feel like the martial arts community, almost, not that we have a responsibility, but I feel like we almost have the honor of being able to spark a change, because even like the journalists that are out there right now, you look on all those Fox News, MSN, they're not real. They're not real. They're all paid, whatever. So then you get like independent people like us. A lot of MMA journalists are independent, especially if you don't work for a big outlet, right? So we have an opportunity in fighters to show people that, look, you can even fight someone of a different race or religion and hug each other after. It is a respect. There is just something different that we do that other communities don't. I've seen it with going to Bellator, where at Madison Square Garden, they had played the Russia national anthem, and I think Dave Navarro came out and did ours on the guitar. Not one person sat for either. Not one.
That's beautiful.
That's how it should be. Everybody should have mutual respect for each other and each other's countries. And the sooner that we all do that, the better we'll be. And I think that the martial arts community is a beacon for that.
Yeah. Like I went to China. I gave the girl a hug. I shook her hand. I fought a girl from Brazil. I gave her a hug. I shook her hand. I fought a girl from Japan. I gave her a hug. I shook her hand. I thanked her coaches. All of that. Like, I think that martial arts, like, just because we are so aware of just how much damage can be done to one person in our sport, that I think that it just builds like so much respect for each other, and then we carry that outside of the cage. I'm not talking about the outliers, because there are the crazies, but most of us, that respect is built in.
Absolutely. And then you fought overseas. You fought in Japan and you fought in China, correct?
Yes. Yep.
The experience over there. was I actually remember watching a lot of your films to the lead up, especially to your fight for Ryzen. And guys were treated amazingly. It's not what people see on the news and shit. People are very respectful in other countries.
I was, first of all, when I went to Japan, they treated me like I was a celebrity. Like, I could have been a Kardashian for what anybody else knows. What?
For them, you probably are.
Yeah. They were just so respectful, and I don't know, they respected the sport and the people, and they just loved us being there. And when I was in China, it was the same thing. We would have open workouts where people would just like come and line up and just want to watch, and then like they'd see me like walking around and be like, you're on the poster, like that's you. And it was just awesome. Like, I didn't get any adversity at all. I didn't get any like backlash or anything. When I went to Japan, I had a friend there who took me around and everything, and actually he didn't let me pay for a single thing the entire time that I was there, but I just kind of got the VIP experience.
Makes it so cool. I actually say to my friends all the time, I said, the blessing that I've had with being in the mixed martial arts industry is I have friends from all over. If I want to go somewhere, see a fight, watch a fight, even just go somewhere just to see the country or state or whatever, I pretty much have somewhere I could go and have somebody show me around everywhere, which is huge. You don't see that in other sports. You don't see, fans like getting together with other. It's a different industry.
It is. Yeah. And I wish that the American fans could look at martial arts more like the Japanese fans do.
I agree.
But although the mixed martial arts community is still the same and still as respectful and loving, just the fans need to get on board and realize that it's not just a brawl. Like, you don't just gotta stand them up. Like, I know. Appreciate jiu-jitsu, appreciate wrestling.
That when people hate on like Tyrone Woodley or Stephen Thompson that have fantastic footwork, it's like, you guys just don't get it, but that's okay. Okay. And they don't get the wrestling and they don't get the jiu-jitsu aspect because people just want to see somebody bleed, and that's actually kind of sad. That's what people really, really, really. I mean, I've heard like, take his head off. Like, no. Hey, you realize that's a human person,
right? Like, I don't want anyone to actually get hurt. Actually, this brings me to another point. I was so happy to see Nunez finish that fight the way that she finished it. That was so respectful.
I know.
Like, she
have destroyed Felicia further than, and I don't want to say that. No, it is actually kind of appropriate.
She could have done so much more damage that would have been so much more permanent.
Her face to her, I mean, and that's a girl that wouldn't be able to fight for a while. No, she was a very respectful way to end that fight. And I've seen fighters do that where they're like, this has been enough. You know what I mean?
Like Roxy.
Yeah, hats off to Felicia for, being asked twice if she could finish it. And she was, no, I'm finishing it. Hats off to her.
Yeah, girls in mixed martial arts, I've never seen a girl back down once, ever.
Not gonna happen. You're not. Very rarely are you gonna see a female back down in MMA. It's just different. We want that. I think it's the mama bear aspect maybe of it.
Oh yeah.
In general, that women have. Not that guys don't have that. However, it's just, I don't know.
Yeah, like I've seen guys back down many times, but I've never seen a girl do it.
No. And it is. There's something to be said for the respect. I think Mark Hunt used to do that all the time. He would knock somebody out and walk away. There's something to be said for that. Like, there's just unnecessary damage, and then I have a problem with when people get mad. You can't talk shit about the refs. No, I can. The refs that are clearly paid under the table that let certain things go that they should not let go. Perfect example, Herb Dean. Terrible ref. Like, you're going to take money versus somebody's livelihood and career. I would love to be a referee because I'll tell you right now, I would turn around right to the corner and anybody else. And this isn't your fucking job. First off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? My number one job as a referee is fighter safety. That is your number one fucking job. That's it. As a referee, your job is fighter safety.
Yes.
And if you get paid to let something go further than you should, or somebody to cheat, you got an issue as a human being.
I agree. While we're on refs, don't want to dog too many.
While we're on refs,
don't want to dog too many refs, but Cecil Peoples is probably the worst ref I've ever had. So my pro debut, I was stood up, I want to say like 5 times. I took her down at least twice every single round. And one time, like, I was in mount and I just landed 3 strikes to her face, and Cecil was like, nope, we're gonna stand you up.
The worst. There's something to be said. You got it. I think that you know, if you're gonna be a ref, you have to train.
Yeah, definitely.
You can't not. And I mean, like, train. You can't just be like, oh, I'm gonna take a class here and there. No, you need to really train. You need to learn part of it. You need to learn everything that you are watching. Everything. And it's just imperative. Judges too. Sometimes I'm like, what the fuck were you watching? And you know, they have to literally unify the rules as a whole across the board for all of MMA. That's it.
Yeah. I also think that they need to have open scoring. Which I think that my next fight I might get open scoring, and I'm so excited about it.
Everybody should have that. You should know how you're doing on the scorecard. Because if the judges are seeing something you're not, you know what I mean? Like, per se, that they're just not watching fully. I mean, I've watched a fight where I've seen a judge take a drink. Like, this is something huge. What are you doing? You're like, literally not supposed to. You're not supposed to, like, look down. You're supposed to be looking at the fight. Yeah.
And, like, Joe Rogan has talked about how he's seen judges be like, what's going on right now? Like, I don't understand this.
Like, how are you even going to question that?
Yeah.
Even a question.
Yep. It's insane. We need some sort of baseline of who is actually able to be a judge.
Okay, so what they need to do, and this is just my perspective from watching it from amateur cards and all that stuff, you need to have a literal, like, X amount of fights within X amount of years under your card as an amateur referee or judge. Only because you can have 30 fights a year and be judging, working for a crap sanctioning body. I hate to say that. You know, a card that isn't going to enforce that's going to cut corners. There's a lot of stuff that goes into this, and people don't really understand. And seeing it from a perspective of I've had the luxury of speaking to a lot of promotional people, like owners. I've sat with referees. I've had dinner with them. So I've had a very different experience in that people have said things in front of me that they shouldn't have. And those people hate on me hardcore because they know, like, I know all your skeletons, and you know what I mean? But I'm against the person. However, you know, I was just like, did you really just say that? Like, reporter sitting here with you, mind? You know, throwing anybody under the bus. That's not in my character. However, referees and judges and promoters really, really, really need to, like, search their soul a little bit while this is going on. And see what you're representing and what your cards and sport is representing.
Yeah, I also think that if we brought open scoring, that would also change a lot of the I've seen judges change the scorecard to this way the person they want to win is going to win. Well, guess what? If it's open scoring, you can't change that.
People too, which is a problem as well. That's why they have to. It's just a big problem. And the judge that was looking at his phone, Miles just pointed out, I think it was a UFC fight where the judge was looking at his phone. It's appalling. It's appalling. It's not your fucking job to look down at your phone. Your job is a job. You know what I mean? And report on, judging a fight. That is literally all you're supposed to do. And it generally says that in the rules. When I go to a fight, it's very in detail explained what we are allowed to do, what we are not allowed to do. And then I'll see people that, like, were at a fight card and they're not there anymore the next couple, and it's because I know that they broke the rules that you're not supposed to break. There's a code of ethics as a journalist. How many people don't follow it, but then you get the same people that don't follow it as a referee or judge and get mad when we say something. Well, fuck you. It's my job. I'm sorry you're under the microscope, but you did that to yourself sitting there.
Yeah. What's funny is with the code of ethics at my last fight, Eric Holden came up to me. He's like, I can't take pictures with you guys anymore. I'm so sad they took that away from me. So I was like, after my fight, I'm like, can I get a selfie with you just happening to be in the background? Because I knew it'd make him so happy.
I don't know exactly why that happened. I can only imagine of the rumors I've heard. I like Eric as a person, so I think a lot of people. I've sat with Eric.
I think that a lot of people don't understand Eric, but I really like him.
I've never had an issue with him, and we've like taken. I think we went to fights together. Like he's never done anything wrong to me. I have had. Let me tell you, there are some creeps in the journalism field. I will just throw that out there. I've had some people creep me the fuck out more than once, and I'm like, dude, I work with you. We're colleagues. Like, what are you thinking? You know what I mean? Like, what goes on? No, and he's really not one of them.
No. He just says some off the wall stuff, but that's to get the views. That's to get the likes.
What does Fox News and CNN do? They put up bullshit and lies and clickbait things just to get you to watch it.
Exactly.
It's smart. Hey, there's a reason why he's being looked at, so something to be said. So back to your fight, because we got a couple minutes left. I'm so excited to see you fight July 2nd.
July 2nd.
July 2nd. Guys, that is going to be on UFC Fight Pass starting at 7 o'clock?
I think so, yes.
Starting at 7 o'clock, which I'm just assuming, watching all the fights, you're probably going to be on around 10:30?
Probably. All I know is on the co-main event.
Yeah, which is amazing. Like, that's huge. But you're no stranger to that. You've been the co-main event before, no?
Yeah. Actually, last time I was the main event. I really like fighting earlier in the card because I like just getting the fight over with and enjoying my night. But being the
I would want to be earlier in the night too for that reason, because sometimes I watch and they're going on so late. I'm like, how do you keep the momentum?
Yeah, but being the co-main event, I'm very honored that I get to do it, and it's the first card back. I feel like there's going to be a lot of viewers.
Big time. Now, you've also trained with the former Atomweight champion, so you train with some beasts. I'm excited. I'm really, really excited. And you trained with Jin last year, right?
Yeah, I trained with Jin last year. For this fight camp, I've been training with Tabitha Batgirl. She fought Lindsay in Bellator. And then I've been training with a girl who won nationals for wrestling this year at the college level. And just a couple other girls. But yeah, those are the ones. Job.
You train with. I'm so excited. I cannot wait to see you fight Friday, July 2nd for Invicta FC 40. You'll be fighting again in the co-main event against Lindsay Van Zandt. Everybody's super excited. Title contention for the #1 spot. We cannot wait. Is there anybody you want to shout out? Anything you want to say that we haven't covered?
Okay, so I want to shout out quite a few people. First of all, James Gray. Gotta give you a shout out because this man gives me free private lessons every week. He opened up the gym and made my fight camp be possible. During this whole time when there weren't classes, he was giving hours to me. I would just go in with Tabitha and with Kay, and we would just crush it together, and he would just oversee it and make sure that we had the best training session. I want to give a shout out to Chris Down and Hillary Down. They are from Phoenix Athletics, my strength and conditioning coach, and my massage therapist. And then a huge shout out to Mary Vance, because not only does this woman help me with nutrition, this woman has helped me become such a better person just in general. Anybody that she comes into contact with, she just helps them in life, not just with nutrition. And it is amazing. Thank you to my mom, my dad, and my brother, and my grandparents, because they're always supporting me no matter what. And then I have quite a few sponsors. Let me pull them up really quick.
Smart girl.
And also, I'm so thankful that I got sponsors. I didn't think that I was going to get any sponsors during this because the world is crazy right now. Nobody's doing that great on money, but everybody stepped up. Want to thank Roadhog MMA, and then Heidi Miller, Griff Ellis, Evergreen Lake Park, Breakball Barbecue. They have the best barbecue in Northeast Ohio. And then Paul Graziano.
Amazing. Oh, who does your tattoos?
Oh, Frank Verdi. He does all of my beautiful work.
Because I know you have so many, and we really love him. We got to shout him out. He does such great work. Again, thank you so much for taking an hour out of your time to speak to us. And we cannot wait to see you back in the cage July 2nd for Invicta FC 40. And where can everybody follow you?
Oh, Guys, you can follow me at Alesha Zapp on Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, Facebook. And then you can follow me on YouTube at youtube.com/halfpint6.
Amazing. And guys, you can check out all of our interviews and latest news on MMA UK news here on Facebook, MMAUK.net on the web. We are MMA UK on YouTube and Twitter, and MMA UK _ Insta on Instagram. Yeah, they always get good with the stupid taking stuff, so we have to change them up. But yeah, thank you for watching. Alesha, thank you so much for taking some time out. James, thank you for training her. And yeah, have a wonderful, wonderful Friday.
Thank you. Have a good day. Thank you for having me on. I love coming on here and interviewing with you.
Oh, please, anytime. And you know what? We should do one about like all the conspircy stuff on MMA or on here later on. We could totally rock that one day.
I agree. I agree.
And have a great day. Thank you so much.
Thanks. You too. Bye.